this pro bono, whether it's awareness or whether it's providing some financial plans. We all know it's so important, and it's so good to see others that are just as passionate about it as I am. And what we do is so important. But the other thing I've heard over the last few hours, I guess I got in late last night, is this can be such a big job because we do take it so seriously. So we do want to make it easy for ourselves, right? We want to make it easy. I hear a lot about how we try to get opportunities or engagements that are more one stop. It's easy for us to go in and provide the volunteers for the next step. And so that's what I want to talk with you about, because I certainly have been utilizing FPA with resources on the national level and using it to make things easier for me as director in Charlotte, North Carolina, and for the volunteers in delivering such an important service to our community. So what I'd like to do is talk about what some of these resources are that I've utilized from national and how I've used them and how it's impacted our city in terms of the pro bono services. So that's what I'd like to talk about. How many of you have used the form for presentations? How many of you use that? Not a whole lot. Okay. Any particular reason anyone want to share?
In your folders, there was a presentation list, and we had fire drills and budgeting and retirement.
Okay. Well, I've used them, and it started out when I've been with Pro Bono for about 3 years now, and I've been director for a year. But one of the first engagements that I became involved with my guru over there, Chia-Li, we were working with a local church. And the plan was to have a series of presentations over a year. Well, they were 3 months away. I thought, I'm going to get involved. I have lots of preparation time in between. Well, I have a day job. It certainly, 3 months came by rather quickly. So when she said, here's the presentation that I can work with, that made a world of difference. And I think that's one of the things that's led me to continue to participate and continue to give, and also to increase the number of volunteers that are in Charlotte right now. We have a volunteer that's probably 40 strong, and if they can commit, they will. And they know if they need support, they can call me, I can call National, and they can get that support. So that's kind of what I'd like to communicate. The order form that I'd like to share with you is the consumer presentation. And all of this is on the Pro Bono website. When I go on there and I see, the toolkit, when we have an engagement, one of the first things I sit down with whoever the volunteer is going to be, and we talk about the particular focus or the particular theme for that engagement, and then we talk about resources that are available, and that makes a world of difference in delivering. So what I'd like to do is talk about some of those presentations. Since many of you have not been involved, financial fire drill, this is one of the first ones I was introduced to. And I'll just talk about it briefly, because when I got that presentation and reviewed it before I talked with the group at the local church, it was like, oh wow, this really captures all the things I really want to deliver. What's particularly great about using that presentation is, when I go back to the FPA website and I ordered, it's been updated, for anything that needs to be factored in. So in addition to that, once I put in the order, the information is sent so that whoever is presenting it, it's flexible enough that changes can be made. It's also flexible enough to provide handouts for participants. So it makes it, very, very easy when you have these engagements. So, I can have, at one point in time, I had, 6 or 7 engagements that I need volunteers for. And so I can, recruit for that and then can say, we have the tools you need. And sometimes there are situations where someone has had to cancel and I've had to pull someone else in last minute. It helps to have that presentation. And as we talk, I can say, hey, this is the information. And it's good also because FPA has the guidelines about how that information can be used. So it's, it's FPA. But it also affords individuals who are using it the flexibility to add, whether it's their own examples or other information to make it interesting. So you have a starting point. And that's, really, really great to work with. Questions?
You use the term order, that implies that there's a fee involved or just free resources?
There is no fee involved. How about that? No fee. When I'm ready for a presentation, and what I've done is looked at the engagements that I have for over a certain period of time or what I anticipate, and then it's a matter of faxing this information. And within a week, I'd say, I have the presentations. They're emailed, no cost at all. Isn't that great? So it makes it very easy to continue to volunteer and to get others on board to work with you. And I'm really excited about it. I just wanted to share a couple others. I mentioned the financial fire drill, which talks about setting up a plan, an overall plan. And it has, the key elements of planning. But if you want to add your own examples, hey, it's flexible enough to do that. A little while ago, I had someone from NAACP call me to make a presentation in North Carolina. It was actually in High Point, North Carolina. And we had a meeting beforehand, and she said to me, it was a youth conference, so I'm all geared up for a youth presentation. And she said, well, it's youth, but there will be adults there also. So these are some of the things that I'd like to be included in the presentation. So I took our presentation about debt, about basic financial information, and I kind of put some things together, and then I went to deliver the presentation. When I went there, I was all ready. All of a sudden, I saw all these young people coming in the room. Very few adults. Guess what? On my memory stick, I had Money School 101 ready. And I was able to put it in, and this is the presentation I used because I had about 75 young people and not necessarily the audience that had been described to me. Was I thankful that that these were prepared ahead of time for me. So it's interesting because I was able to deliver this, which is targeted more, for a younger group. But then later on, some adults came in, and at the end, they were like, oh, I got so much out of that presentation. But, when you have a group and you see, there are 13 or 14 or 15-year-olds coming in, it's a very different approach than you would have. So I say that to say I had ordered this presentation anticipating for young people. I had it on my memory stick there, and I was able to plug it in and make the presentation right away. Made things so much easier. Can you imagine the stress otherwise? So it made things a lot easier. So those are just, one example. The information is provided electronically, so you're able to send it easily to whoever may need it, and send it so they can then make the adjustments that are needed. A couple of other presentations I found very helpful. We did an engagement with Habitat for Humanity, which works with individuals who are undeserved, but we were actually working with the organization itself because they were in serious debt situation, let's say. So we thought our volunteers could help there. Well, there is a financial planning for small business. Now, this is not one that I used for a presentation, but guess what? I was able to use this for background information. So I was able to use it as a reference point, and that helped tremendously in being able to help out Habitat for Humanity and working with that engagement. Just another example. Other information. This is not one of the, how many of you have used Money 101 in working with clients? A few. Money 101 is an awesome tool, especially when we're so interested in meeting the entire needs of the client, but we can't provide advice. But Money 101, with Money 101, individuals are able to input their information. We get a plan similar to what we would have with our clients, and we can work with them on that. Now, there's not an investment component to it, but there is, a debt management component, a planning component, and those kinds of things that we would tend to see with this particular audience. So, Money 101, even though it's not a presentation, one of the toughest things about using this is getting individuals to actually input the information. It doesn't take a long time, but it's just a different frame of mind for the individuals who we work with here. So having information about Money 101, which I get from FPA, allows me to go step by step and make it more comfortable for them. And then they can go and input the information. So just thinking about different uses of all of these resources that are available, which is a matter of just going on the Pro Bono website, looking at the list, and making the order based on what you may need. Retirement, real world retirement is another presentation that I've used. And again, last year I used it. When I went back this year, it's nice to see that it's updated for current numbers. So as we think about how important it is for us to do what we do, how important it is to serve the audience that we serve, but at the same time, making sure that it's easy for us to do and it's easy for the volunteer planners to do. What I'd like to share is, that it's been very, very easy. So, this is a very easy process to make happen. It's flexible, and the information is good. I'm a financial planner, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And I have to keep up with financial planning information. This information is good, but at the same time, it's not, selling. It's about education, and it's about moving from A to B when there is that need. I'd like to share that I've used it. It works. It makes things easier, and I encourage you to do the same. And thank you, Amira, and your crew for providing all of the information. Investing matters. Oh, estate planning. I got a call. Just one last example. I got a call in working with the Charlotte Housing Authority. And, you know, hey, we have a month-long presentation. We need some help. We don't have anyone to do it. Can you do it? Can FPA do it for us? Of course we can. So tell me, you know, what you need. So they said they needed, we need to talk about, here are young single mothers who just purchased a home and they have to participate in a certain number of workshops so that, you know, they don't lose the home or they don't lose the funding for that home. And so there were a series of 10 sessions, and they wanted to focus on what would happen if something happened to those individuals, what would happen to their children, and yeah, we have an estate planning workshop. And I pulled that together, talked with the individual about what the focus needed to be, and got 6 volunteers to cover about 12 sessions within 1 month. And everyone who I talked with, and they're like, oh, do we have anything ready? Because we didn't have a lot of notice here. But we had the estate planning presentation. We were able to modify it in a short period of time. And, you know, everyone said, this is good. This is really good. When I told them what they needed to focus on for this audience, every single evaluation that I got back, 5 out of 5, okay? So I say that to say it's just been wonderful having this resource. And in Charlotte, North Carolina, we've used it. It has worked well, and we will continue to use it. Okay, any questions?
I wanted to say, I didn't realize that until I pulled out the list, but these are the presentations that DC is for financial planning day, and they were very, very well received.
Good.